humans are the only creatures on earth who can choose to overturn the law of the jungle, to outgrow the beast within us. Firing this eternal struggle is our ability to imagine. Imagine a better place.
But the problem with imagination is also that it amplifies our fears.
Right.
Because what does an imagination do? I can think of the worst situations. I can imagine problems which don't exist.
Right.
Even in times of abundance, I can think of drought and go into depression. So, you know, it's a tragedy of imagination. While it can give me, I can imagine good things, I can also imagine horrible things.
The worst things.
So it amplifies joy, it amplifies fear.
Right.
And the most tragic and interesting thing about imagination is suddenly we ask ourselves, because we can imagine and because we are aware we can die, we start asking the question, what's the point of it all? And that's where everything starts. That's the home, that is the source of our solutions and our problems.
How is it connected to dharma?
You see, I can imagine not being afraid. So if you look at all the gods, they have their hands sticking out, and what are they saying? Don't be afraid.
Right.
This is the Abhaya Mudra. Of course, it's also a political symbol today, so we should be careful.
Right.
It doesn't. But the fact is, Abhaya means don't be afraid. And every deity in India, everyone, is holding the hands out and saying, and that's what a leader is supposed to do. Now, what is dharma? Just visualize a simple number chart. There's a positive axis, there's a negative axis, and the number 0.
Right.
Now imagine the number 0 as what is called in Sanskrit Matsya Nyaya, or law of the jungle. Big fish can eat the small fish in the sea, which means I'm allowed to be territorial, I can be dominating because I want to survive. That's an animal instinct.
Right.
If I can outgrow this animal instinct of survival, which means I start thinking about others, I empathize, because I can imagine your fear. And because I can imagine your fear, I can empathize with you. If I can work towards empathy, that is outgrowing the beast. But if I allow the fear to amplify my fear, then in my fear, I will say that, okay, I have to stay alive and I have to thrive and others don't matter. Nobody else matters but me. Then I'll start exploiting people. I will tame other people, I will dominate, I will become worse than an animal. Animals don't exploit, humans do. Animals are not cruel, humans are cruel. So exploitation comes in. This comes from the human imagination. Both of this, exploitation and empathy, come from the same space. The human ability to imagine and be creative. So both are possible. Now if I move in this direction, then this is dharma. So it's a work in progress. It's not an end point, it's not a destination. It's a process. If I move in the opposite direction, overwhelmed by fear, this comes from fear only, it's adharma. The choice is ours, and every choice has consequences. So, and if not in this life, then in the next life. You evolve in the next life. Where will you go?
What is the dharma sankat then?
A dharma sankat is the ability to take this decision. The ability, you see, in what is life all about? Every moment we have to take decisions. At a moment of time, what do I decide? What decision do I take? Let me give you an example through a story. Once upon a time, there was an eagle, and the eagle was chasing a dove. And the dove came to a king and told the king that, save me. And the king said, I will save you. And then the eagle said, what will I eat now? So he said, eat another dove. So that's cruel. He says, why is that cruel? He said, to save one dove, why should another dove die? Then he said, okay, then eat a rat. And the eagle said, that's cruel. Why should a rat die to save this dove? So finally the king said, eat me. And he said, you're a foolish king. How long can you feed me? Sooner or later you will die, and I'll have to eat the dove. So you're just delaying its death. This is dharma sankat. You see, in nature, nobody would have come to the rescue of the dove. Now the king thinks he's very noble in saving the dove. It's a human imagination, right? You're imagining that by saving the dove, I'm being a nice man. But you're being, in effect, cruel to the eagle. You decided that the eagle is bad, and the dove needs saving. Now look what is happening. The dove is calling the king a kind king, and the eagle is calling the king a cruel king. Who is right? What should the king do?
What should the king do?
There is no prescription.
How do you fit this in a business or corporate context, just considering the large number of companies that you've interacted with, that the fact that you have deep insight into one large business group right now? What are the more common dharma sankat situations that business leaders face, and how are they supposed to overcome it if there is no prescription?
So there's a recession. I have to cut costs. I have two ways of cutting costs. Reduce salaries of the top management, or give pink slips to the bottom of the pyramid. Which way should I go?
Well, the former sounds less cruel.
Yeah, but try taking
But to those people, it's as cruel, right?
Yeah, so take it. Because that would mean those top management, which is running your organization, may leave. And the company can collapse. And the shareholders will withdraw money.
What do you do?
That's dharma sankat.
And there is no prescription of
There
how
is
to
no
manage
That's
a dharma
what
sankat
makes a
situation.
king. That's why you need a leader. If there was a prescription out there, then why do you need a leader? You have to ask yourself, if I have to evolve, I have to ask myself, why do I take the decision? Where from comes the decision that I'm taking? Am I taking the decision because I'm afraid? Am I doing it to protect myself? Am I doing it to protect my self-image? Am I doing it to protect my business, which is actually an extension of my self-image? Or am I doing it for the good of the people? More often than not, it is never for the good of the people.